Good morning. That was probably too long of a pause at the beginning there. Uh, Good morning and welcome to our Valley of Vision devotional. I promise I will try not to rock back and forth in this rocking chair. Uh, but I'm a ball of energy even in the morning, and so sometimes my happy feet get carried away. Um, Thank you for being here. We are going through this book, this compilation of old Puritan inspired prayers called the Valley of Vision. Um, and this week's devotional is based on one of my favorite prayers, a really simple poem prayer called "Act of Approach." It's the it's the title track in a section that is filled with prayers about approaching God, about going to God. And this one, it's just simple and it's beautiful and it's a sweet reminder. And then, so today's devotional is just simply knowing that we can approach God, that we can go to God. So let me read it. And I want to remind you that as I read it, I'm praying this, and I want you to pray it with me. Uh, hear the words, think about the words, and just sort of be unified with me as I read this. Act of approach. Benign Lord, I praise Thee continually for permission to approach Thy throne of grace, and to spread my wants and desires before Thee. I am not worthy of Thy blessings and mercies, for I am far gone from original righteousness. My depraved nature reveals itself in disobedience and rebellion. My early days discovered in me discontent, pride, envy, revenge. Remember not the sins of my youth, nor the multiplied transgressions of later years. My failure to improve time and talents, my abuse of mercies and means, my wasted Sabbaths, my perverted seasons of grace, my long neglect of Thy great salvation, my disregard of the friend of sinners. While I confess my guilt, help me to feel it deeply with self-abhorrence and self-despair, yet to remember there is hope in Thee, and to see the Lamb that takes away sin. Through Him may I return to Thee, listen to Thee, trust in Thee, delight in Thy law, obey Thee, be upheld by Thee. Preserve my understanding from error, my affections from love of idols, my lips from speaking guile, my conduct from stain of vice, my character from appearance of evil, that I may be harmless, blameless, rebukeless, exemplary, useful, light-giving, prudent, zealous for Thy glory and the good of my fellow men. Yeah, it's simple and it's sweet, and it's called the act of approach. Uh, and that's the point. We can approach God. We can always approach God. Um, God is gentle. God is a kind God. This prayer leads off saying, benign Lord, gentle, harmless Lord. And whether you are in your early days or your later years, chances are you have revealed disobedience and rebellion as it leads off in this prayer. Um, do you struggle to be content with things? Do you wrestle with pridefulness? Do you experience envy? Do you have a spirit of revenge? I know I have those things. Um, have you wasted the time or the talent that God has given you? Have you abused mercies that He has provided for you? Um, These are the examples of disobedience and rebellion. Wasting Sabbath. Have we taken a day that is supposed to be about the Lord, about honoring Him, about resting, but resting in Him as an understanding that it is He who provides everything that we need? Have we wasted Sabbaths? Have we just corrupted seasons of grace that God has rained down on us, and perverted them? Have we neglected salvation? Have you disregarded Jesus? I know I have. I have done those things. But listen, after the list of issues in early days and later years, those areas of disobedience and rebellion, the cry is to remember that there is hope, right? There is hope in God. See the Lamb that takes away sin. Um, Listen and trust and delight. I want you to know, um, you've never blown it with God. If you think that you've just done too much, or that you've just blown it, then you have not. The reason I read this prayer is because it is act of approach. You can approach Him. If you think that you have just blown it, then approach God. He calls you in to come to Him and to remember Jesus, to remember the Lamb that takes away sin, and to be upheld by God. Um, so I want you to take that into your week. There's a list of wonderful things in this prayer that are being called to preserve. And I encourage you to reread those or listen to this again and go through those. But I want you to start with this understanding that you have never blown it with God. You can always approach Him. He calls you to approach Him and to be upheld by Him. Until next time, be blessed.